Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at something a little bit different, but it's going to go with your G.I. Joes or your Marvel Legends or whatever you want it to go with. And that is this Universal Hibernation Pod. Now, this one is open, as you can see here. But this thing is actually pretty cool. You can find it on Amazon. It runs about $65, so I will drop a link in the description how you can get it on Amazon, so you don't have to search for it. But as you can see, there it is. There's the pod right there, and then there's the control panel for it and everything that it comes with. Here you can see you kind of link them together, right? And it kind of shows you a few different things. And there is some work to putting this thing together, right? And then you can see there's a little bit with the lighting on it. So this thing is, again, it's pretty cool. I haven't really messed around with it too much. I have one of them put together. I want to say thank you to Gregory, who dropped it off for me to take a review of and said, hey, you know what? Enjoy it. Have fun with it. Anyway, we're going to take a look at it. Let's get to this because no one really wants to look at all of this. But anyway, before we do it, listen, if you like this type of content, if you like this crazy G.I. Joe stuff that I get in or stuff that can go with G.I. Joe, Marvel Legends, whatever, take a second, hit that like button, hit that bell notification, and hit that subscribe button so you're notified every time I drop some sort of video, and you're probably going to like it because you've been here before. Now let's go look at this. Alright, so here are the boxes, and like I said, it's going to take a little bit of work to get this thing together, so if you're not mechanical, you may not want to do it. So here's everything. It's almost like a model kit. Now, it does come with instructions, which I would definitely recommend that you read on how to get it together. We're just going to show you everything. Again, not the easiest thing to put together, but when you look at all of this, you can see everything is here. I can show you right now. Here is some electronics. Not very difficult. Again, plug and play. If you've ever dealt with any type of electronics like this, I do with copy machines, so this is no big deal. But that's what you're going to get. It's going to take some time, but if you want to create Serpentor, you want to create bats, you want to find a way to fix Duke after he gets somehow a snake put through his heart, yet somehow he survives, hey, you know what? Here it is. Maybe you need this for Luke Skywalker. Maybe you need it for Wolverine becoming Weapon X. Listen, it's your imagination. But anyway, let's take a look at the actual device, which is right there. Alright, so here it is. Again, here's the pod. Here's the controllers. I brought some figures up here so we can drop them in there. You might be asking, why do you have two Sergeant Slaughters? Well, maybe they're cloning Sergeant Slaughter. And I felt Valaverse was a great body to clone, because as we know, anytime that you make a copy of something, it's not as good. So he's tiny, but maybe he's really strong at his very short stature. He's shorter than everyone else. That's what I use him for, because as you know, Sergeant Slaughter, in my opinion, was a bad guy because he turned his back on Hulk Hogan and the USA. But then, hey, you know what? Maybe you use Sergeant Slaughter and you created Big Boa from him. You think that he's just that tough. But you gotta have Dr. Mindbender, who's obviously gonna control it. So anyway, let's take a look at this, because you've had enough of that talk, right? Alright, so here we go. Well, I guess I gotta back this thing up a little bit more. Alright, so here's the chamber, and let's just talk about it. So you're gonna have to put everything together. A lot of stuff. There's little stickers, little decals. You can see this little Cobra symbol right here. So, asking, how do you get this figure in here? Well, this thing just slides straight up like that, all right? So, if you want to put the figure in, you take Big Boa, and we can move this up and down. Looks like you're supposed to have a peg right here. So, if you can peg it back, if they do have a peg, but hey, let's just slide them right in here. We can drop that straight down like this. And you can see there's a good amount of room in there. Now, will Serpentor fit in there? That's a whole other story. I didn't bring up Serpentor. He's a much, much bigger figure. You might be hard-pressed to get that figure up there. But this thing also does open up at the top here. And then if you want, you can just take this whole thing off. So maybe it's an open chamber, right? So you got the chamber down like that. It's an open chamber. it's not sealed because you don't need to worry about a Wolverine smashing out or whatever you're doing, right? All right. Here, let's say we want to move it back. Ooh. So on the bottom here, this piece comes down. This arm falls down. And then this piece right here, you move forward, and then you can lean it back. So if you need something different, you can have it on an angle like this. You're worried about the figure constantly falling out. You know, that's how you can set it up. And obviously there's arms that are supposed to hold the figure into place. I don't think it's really going to be too big of an issue. So then once you lock it back up, push that thing up there. All right, but push this thing up. We're going to throw this tiny little Valaverse guy in here. Throw him in there. We're going to throw this down. And there we go. Pop that thing down. Now, on the top, you're going to see lock and unlock. So what this does is when you're putting your electronics in, that's how it goes. And then once you got it in there, you want to do your shots. There's a button right up at the top. And you're going to have different colors. So you have blue here. There you have a green. You got your red. And then you got your clear. And then you just hold the button down and it shall turn off. But really, it's a nice looking pod for anything that you're going to do with G.I. Joe. And like I said, or Marvel Legends, you know. I don't really collect Marvel Legends too much. I mean, I have some for my personal collection. But you want something for Wolverine, Sabretooth, something like that. There you go. Perfect little thing for it. Kind of expensive, but hey. So here is the the controller. Now on the controller, it's kind of like this clear screen. Clearly, you're watching the vitals and different things like this. You got a nice little keyboard. The keyboard does actuate up and down. This moves back and forth, and the vitals here can move back and forth. So you see it's at 98%. Here on the bottom, if you want, you can connect it. So it's like this, right? And you can put it on either side. Doesn't really matter. Or, hey, you could just say it's wireless, or maybe it's connected underneath if you just don't want this because it impedes something. No big deal. And then I do believe you can pop this off, and let's say you have a second pod. You can plug this in right here. Put the next one next to it. The next one next to it. That sounded really stupid. Put the one next to it, and then you can have them in a perfect orderly manner so they're not too close. Maybe they're not butted up against each other, but that's how you do that. But all in all, this thing is a really nice looking pod. But let's take a look at the details on it, because you're saying, hey, you know what, I'm spending $65 on this thing. Wow, that's a lot. So looking at this, we quickly took a look at the details. The keypad looks, I guess it's the keyboard looks really nice. 01. It's just white and this dark charcoal gray, which I think looks awesome. These are all stickers that are going to come with it. So you got your caution on it. Oh, this actually raises up. Kind of forgot about that. So this can raise up depending on what figure it is, who's using it, and oh, I guess it breaks too. Oh, you don't want to bend that. Oh, God, you gotta be kidding me. That was not good. All right. Well. All right, well. This is what happens when you do stuff like I do. This does not bend. But it broke off pretty easily the moment I moved it. So I guess I'll be hitting this up with some super glue. It is kind of disappointing. Again, that was my own fault. You guys watch exactly what happened. I can't really blame the manufacturer. It is pretty flimsy. And unfortunately, I bent it the way that it was kind of wobbly, thinking that this thing rotated. And unfortunately, it does not. So I will be gluing this on here but I can't blame anyone else. But we'll take a look at the details. Again, we kind of showed all this off. It looks nice. This does just pop on here. But hey, this is what you guys get, man. I'll show you exactly what happens. Unfortunately, that is all on me, so I'll be gluing that thing right back on there. But you can look at the detail on this. It does look really nice. Even here. So, I mean, it just looks like what you would see in some sort of factory or something like that. So, then we take a look at this here. Move this back here. So you get the 01 on here. Kind of showed you the top here. But the glass looks really nice. Just kind of, again, a lot of nice little detail. I'm glad it's not just all one color. I have like a silver 3D printed pod. But the detail just looks nice. And this hides underneath it. So if you want it facing straight up, you don't have to worry about it. This is going to fold up. See how it just kind of folds down? And then a little bit of, then that folds out. So you don't have to worry about it falling over. And this thing moves back and forth, so it locks it into place. It's not a button, it's just a slide. But all in all, something that looks pretty nice. I love the color, so it's gonna be wonderful for photo and different things like that. So that's it. Now let me fix it, wrap this thing up, and put the link for you guys to decide if it's something you're interested in. And you gotta blame me, not the rest of this, for what happened. Alright, there's my review of the Universal Hibernation pod on Amazon. Here it is. As I mentioned, you know, the lights do change, and the other piece is sitting over there gluing as we speak. Now, full disclosure, I didn't put this together. Before Greg, you know, dropped it off, he said, "Hey, do you want me to put this together?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And then when he dropped it off, he said, "Hey, you know what? Enjoy this. We'll trade something later on. I'll make sure he gets something, because he does crazy stuff like this a lot for me. So I do appreciate it. But I also hate breaking stuff too. So I can't, you know, again, I can't blame this on the company that it broke. I bent it because it kind of like it wobbled, but I also didn't put it together. So I'm assuming once you go through the directions, you're going to see that, hey, be careful with this. This is how it goes. But hey, if you're interested in this, again, I think it's going to go great with Dr. Mindbender. I think it's going to go great with Wolverine. I'll obviously be putting Wolverine in there. I do have a 3D printed one that's just a silver. It looks cool, but I really got to do some painting on it. That's just not my forte. It's not what I do. So there you go. If you want it, get it. Link is in the description. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you very much. Listen, you stuck around this long. Facebook group page, Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. You guys know the Instagram, a punk with toys. There's 2 of them. Follow both of them, because guess what? I'm kind of putting different content on them both. But you stayed here this long. Listen, last thing you do before you leave here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, so you're notified every time I drop something that I'm going to break on camera. And unlike other YouTubers, I'm not going to edit it out and act like, hey, I didn't do this or it didn't happen. I'm going to be upfront with you that, hey, you know what? I did something stupid. It's on this guy. I'm going to get out of here. As I keep mentioning, I keep saying that. But before I leave, right up here is going to be a video of something you're going to enjoy. Down here will be a playlist of other things you're going to enjoy. Take care.